Well, thank you for doing this. You originally from this area then?
Yes, I was born in Corey and I lived in Spring Creek till I went to college in Fredonia in 1962.
And what'd your mom and dad do for a living?
Well, my mom had different jobs before she was married. Of course, I didn't know her there. I know she worked at the telephone company, and she was a stenographer, and that was what she did before she was married. And then she married Arthur Brundage and had 3 children. The first, Allison, was stillborn, and then my brother John is still alive, Brundage, and then I was born, Carolyn. And is that all you asked me?
Yeah. But
okay.
We've heard a lot about the Brundage interest in and connection to Robert Jackson. What would that be?
Oh, because my mother was such a, after she had children, she just stayed at home, took care of us. She was a volunteer. She did everything. Oh, she would love this if she were here. She died at 92. That was back in, I think, around 1996 or something. But she was always interested in history and was a little disappointed in me because I only wanted to do music. so I know a lot about Mercyhurst, and I did get a music degree and taught 41 years. I don't know what I was thinking, but I also taught private piano, and I played in church for 70 years. So that's what I did. Well, I was interested, though. I mean, I like to read. She was always reading stuff. And her connection with Robert Jackson is that my grandfather, what's his first name? Bill Henry, he had that home, and that's where Robert Jackson was born. Well, of course, all the grandchildren, there were 2 girls and 3 or 4 boys. I think it was 3 boys. No, 4 boys. 4 boys, 2 girls. And we would always be at the farm in the summer. And after holidays and everything, and my mother has always from day one talked about Robert Jackson. Well, she was very good friends with Mary Craighill.
Right.
Let's see now, how does that hook up?
His mother.
Yeah, right. And in fact, she would write letters and stuff to my mother, and she would come up. I know she has some kind of stone in the cemetery in Spring Creek, but I haven't been there for quite a while because I don't walk very well on this kind of land. So she had a lot of going back and forth with Mary and talking and stuff. And then when Grandpa, Bill Henry, when he got older, and Mary Stewart was his sister, and they lived there, and we were all in I was in this school, elementary school, and we would take the sisters, Thelma, Lily, Dorothy, I'm forgetting one of them, but anyway, would take turns watching over the grandparents. So the children had to live there too. So we loved it because we got to be upstairs in that big old house in the biggest room that had 2 large, probably they were just double-sized beds then. I don't know how big they were, but we thought it was great. Of course, the down thing was we had to walk down that hill over the big bridge, the 2 little bridges, up to the railroad track to get the bus. So that made my mother a little nervous, but we did it. And we did that, I don't know.
Was the bridge at the time, that was just a walking bridge across Broken Straw?
The big bridge?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, no, you could drive over it. No, you could drive over that. Now, I thought the bridge was down, but my brother said it isn't. But can you walk on it? Are there planks? because now I can hardly walk, right? I've been dying to go there. You just don't know how much. But I wonder why I got that misinformation. Were they thinking of tearing it down, or?
May have. The infrastructure's fine. The bridge is okay. It's the planking.
Well, that's what I thought. Just replace the planks. I mean, I don't know. Of course, that would be expensive. But yeah, the big bridge was always there, and then the two little ones. Are they still there?
I'm not sure what the little ones are, but the big bridge
Well,
across the broken straw.
When you walk into where you're going to the big bridge, you might not even know you were going over a bridge. It's probably grown over.
Yeah, they've kind of created sluices.
Yeah.
So you're good.
So they don't even have planks on it like they used to. Okay. Yeah, there were two small ones. And yeah, I thought, I don't see how, I thought that was a sturdy bridge. I couldn't see why would anyone want to take, I mean, that's how you get in.
So what time period would you have been spending time with Bill Henry's house?
Okay, I would have started school, let's see, I was born in 44. And so I would have been 6, so that'd be 50, right? So I would have come to this school in 1950. And so the time that we were there, well, we were there from when we could walk, like for holidays and all that stuff, up to the time they died. And so I'm trying to think, I think I was in 4th or 5th grade, so that would make it 1954, 55. Grandpa died, Betty Stewart, my aunt died, and my grandmother, Caroline Brundage, died. All that same year, that's why I remember. And so that was kind of, you know, a rough year for everybody.
Were you interested in buying the house at all?
Oh, so I get the shivers. The thing is, when all this went down, when somebody bought it, I was in North Dakota, because my husband was in the service. And at once I went to college, I mean, I came back to see my parents, but I never did all the fun things or lived there like I, you know, did as a child. And so, what was the main question you asked me?
Whether you were interested in buying the house.
Oh, buying the house.
Here it is, it's in the Henry estate.
Yes.
The estate owns it and they've got to deal with it.
Right. Well, the thing was, I mean, because my mother loved antiques, there was 2 rooms up there just filled with antique stuff. We weren't allowed to go in those rooms, but we peeked, of course. And so at one time, my sister Kathy, that would be my mother's Thelma's daughter, they live in Cleveland, and Jerry, her husband, would kind of be interested in buying stuff like that, but they just decided it was too much. I don't think they're more city, I think.
Now, you mentioned earlier off camera that someplace in the family actually has some designs, architectural designs of the house.
Well, he made them. That's my brother.
Okay, your brother made them?
Yeah, John Brundage. Well, that's what he told me. Now, he better have those, because we were having a conversation. I see him once in a while. I laugh because we just had a reunion, and that's when my brother and I had the talk of the year, you know, when nobody else was there and we're just talking. And so I was saying to him, I said, oh, I can't believe that they tore that house down, and what were they thinking? Robert Jackson was born there, and I said, oh, I remember every room in that house. And he goes, I do too. He says, don't worry, I've got an architectural plan of it. And
wow.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, if I ever won the lottery, let's go buy that house. Which, you know, we all have our houses, but now we're older and stuff, but I don't know.
Where's John live?
He lives on Baker Hill Road in Corey. He's also, it's not like country like this, but, you know, he is on a country road. And he was at Ajax, so I don't know where he went to some school in Buffalo where he had architectural classes, and I can't remember the name of it. It was a 2-year school because he really didn't want to go to school. Me, I was dying to go to school. So anyway.
So any stories you have? Any memories? Swimming off the bridge, or a broken straw, or coming down? Because as I recall, there was an actual road in front of that house itself.
We call that around the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't. Somebody told me, it must have been my brother, that I don't know who, the hill, the hill that you go up to,
Yeah.
that wasn't there originally. And because the front of the house faces the water.
Right.
Yeah. Now, you would never find me jumping into the broken straw. Because at that time, they had a tannery and who knows what else, went into that. Yeah. Plus, I like to be near water, not in it. So I didn't do that. But I just heard my cousin Tom, that his mother Dorothy was a daughter of the grandpa, and they were the last people to live in that house. And he would jump off the bridge, and he was telling us that you didn't come up for water till you got in front of the house.
The way the strip.
Yeah, you wouldn't catch me doing that, but people did swim in that. Oh, I know another thing we did. There were how many boy cousins? There were 4 boy cousins and us 2 girls. They would go and catch frogs, and we would have frog legs.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
Yeah, who does that? But I don't even like frog legs anymore. But they used to do that.
Do you remember the barn?
Yes.
Was the barn up at the time?
Yeah, because we like to go in the haymow and jump out.
So people would use the area behind the Jackson homestead, and they would hay it.
Well, right next to it, where you're talking about going around the circle, that was like an orchard, and we would Thanksgiving we always played that duck goose or whatever go around in that, and they used to whatever you do to pigs when why do you put them in hot water or something? I don't know. They used to. I remember that. I didn't really want to be there at that. That wasn't the fun part. But I know they did something with pigs like that. I think they had chickens probably. They always had a dog. Gypsy was the last dog. It was we had a dog like that. They're not a real big dog, but it was just the nicest dog. And then Grandpa would always take us on he had a truck. So he'd put us all in the truck and take us for a ride. Sometimes the hay wagon through the field, which was down at the end of the hill. And that, but then when you ask about the haymow, next to the haymow, that barn was kind of up on a small hill. So there was a fence there, and we weren't supposed to go out there, but of course we did. And but it was a beautiful view out there, and they had cows and I don't know what else. Trying to think what was in the barn. I don't remember them having horses, but I don't like horses, so I don't know if I really remember.
Most people don't.
Yeah. So. But and there was a milk house there. Is that still there? I don't know.
There's nothing there.
Nothing there. Okay. Well, because see, I thought you couldn't go on the bridge. Now that I can't walk very well, I can't go on the bridge anymore.
Yeah.
But
Well, tell me about Bill Henry.
oh, okay. I don't know what he did prior to farming. Seems like he might have done something. My brother, John, could probably tell you everything you want to know, but and he's the guy with the plans. I only knew him as Grandpa. He worked on the farm. His sister lived there. She was a world traveler, so it was kind of interesting to hear all her tales, but they, lived in the house together there. She mostly lived, I think, in Washington, D.C., but was at the house, when she got older.
So did when Henry died, but Bill died and the sister died shortly thereafter, probably the estate settled. Do you know who they sold it to?
See,
Was that McChesney at the time?
Are you shaking your head? Do you know? I don't know.
You know?
Frost.
Who's Strauss?
His name was like Jack Frost.
Oh, Frost.
And
Frost.
McChesney bought from him.
And,
He was going to make it a ski resort.
yep.
Yeah, I knew it was, yeah, that's why, at that time, remember, I was over in North Dakota, so I really, yeah, I don't know all the facts. My brother probably knows all the facts. Well, there was the one brother of my mother and the sisters, Bill, little Bill they called him. He always lived at the house. And so when they died, then they couldn't leave Bill by himself. That's when we took turns and stayed there and took care of him. So then Aunt Dorothy Morton was the daughter. Her family bought the house. It was she and her husband and Tom Morton. And I don't know how long they lived there, not too long. And then they decided it was too much. And then they must have sold the house to whoever. See, I don't know all that facts.
We do have that title work, Dan, in case you're curious. I didn't think to look at it. Gosh, this is terrific. You're a fount of knowledge, and tell your brother we're coming.
Oh, well, he'll be so much better than I. See, I'm sitting here kind of shivering because I'm like, no, you have to remember this correctly. And then if you notice, if we're talking and then you start to say something else, and then I have to bring me back to what was I going to tell you about that? So he's not like that, even though he's older. But
Is he here?
no, and I think he's not here, I bet, because of his wife. She could care less about historical stuff. And it's funny because when my mom was so historical and all this, like I said, I love music. And but it turned out good. I started playing over in the Spring Creek Church when I was 10, but I'm still playing in church, which I'm going to have to stop because I'm 77. So,
you look great.
Yeah, well, thanks. But yeah, my brother he will remember everything crystal clear. And, you know, anything that you would like to know, I'm sure he could tell you.
We'll track him down.
And the one thing, though, about the farm is, this makes me sad. All of us cousins will just always love it, no matter what, you know. It was just a fun place to go. Sorry. Because I do, you know, I just want to go back there, you know. And when I think of my Uncle Bill, the one son that, you know, he's died now, and I'm sure my other cousins would, you know, if you just could go see it, even if there's nothing.
Well, here's what we're going to do, because you're the kind of person that's going to pull this all off. You're going to get an email list of the cousins.
Okay.
Give it to us, because we film a lot. We have a lot. So we can certainly bring you there virtually, if not actually.
Okay, my husband's good with electronics. I mean, we have a computer and I do stuff on my phone, but I'm not really terrific at it, but he can do anything.
Well, we're going to make sure we connect here, because that's a critical piece. We have a lot already. You would find very fascinating what the project is, what's there now, and you'd enjoy that.
I hope I live to see it rebuilt. That would be so great. I don't know. Do you think it will happen?
Tom's into housing, so I think he's going to find some units there.
Well, yeah, affordable housing, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, let's start with the housing plan, and then we'll go from there.
I don't know.
Just saying, it's right in your bailiwick, Tom. My God.
400, 500 units?
Yeah.
But do you know the outlay of the house? It was amazing for an older house, or not?
Can you verbalize it?
Yeah, I can.
Go ahead. Sure.
Well, see, the front door, we didn't know the front door was supposed to be next to the water. So we went up the hill and the back door into the woodshed. So then you go into another room where you take off your boots and stuff like that, whatever you call that room, you know, raincoat, whatever you have on. Then you went into this large farm kitchen with the cupboards that go to the ceiling, which my brother has those. In his garage, he wanted those, so they're still around. And what I remember, if you walked into the kitchen and then made a U-turn, there was a pantry. And there was a door in the kitchen that you could go toward the orchard, which would be away from the water. And then you would go into like a hallway, kind of a large hallway that I guess it was just to connect other rooms. One door went downstairs. Remember, I never went there. If you went to the right, it's the last thing, they kind of used it like a family room, but it was a bedroom. And then that connected to the master bedroom, which was heading toward the creek. And then that from the master bedroom, you went into, I call it the family room because it had a piano in there. And it was kind of like an extra living room, really. And it was, you could look out and see the water and stuff. And then if you take a left, now you're going to go back to where we started. There was, it was just a huge living room with a stove in it, corner cupboards, roll-top desk, Tiffany lamps, and a door to go. That was the front door, the Jackson's used, that we were never supposed to go out that door, so we didn't go out that door. And then you would be back into the hallway. You just take a U-turn. Then I can tell you the top, the second floor, if you want it or not.
Yeah.
It's kind of different. Okay, the stairs, to me, they seemed steep. Maybe I was little. Yeah, I don't know. There were a lot of stairs. They were narrow. And so you go up the stairs, and if you go to the left, that was Uncle Bill's bedroom. Then there was another room that I was not really in. So I think that's where they had some of their antique stuff. And then if you went to the right, there was a good-sized room. And then there was the baby's room, which is probably where Robert Jackson slept, I would guess. It's the baby's room off because everybody liked them, you know, the big room, and then there was just that little. Okay, you come back into the hall. It's like you're on the stairs, you're going to go left, straight. Now we're turning to the right, and here's where I'm a little shaky on exactly how many rooms there were on the right. I know there were 2, and I was not in the first room. There could have possibly been 3. I am not sure about that. I know there were 2. And then the one I knew at the end, that's where there was lots of antique stuff, dishes, all that. Now my favorite room I saved to last at the end of the hall. To the left, the 2 big double beds, 2 dressers. That's where my dad, my mom, my brother, and I always stayed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you could, you know, with the windows open, you know, you can hear the chirping and the frogs. But I almost forgot to tell you the most beautiful part about that broken straw. I'll never forget the night we looked out and the whole top of it was just lightning bugs. It was unreal. I never saw that again. I mean, we used to go out and catch lightning bugs, but I never, everything must have been just right in the atmosphere or something, and it was beautiful. That's all I remember of the house.